I know why you can't lucid dream. And no, it's not because you're using the wrong technique. It's not because you're using the wrong mantra. It's got nothing to do with your motivation. And it's not because you can't visualize. It's something else entirely. In fact, about 50% of my teaching revolves around this problem because it's so embedded in human psychology and everyone suffers from this issue. It is the core problem at the heart of lucid dreaming. All right, so that sounds quite dramatic, might even sound a little bit clickbaity, but I promise you it isn't. This really is the number one issue that if you can get your mind past this, you will look at lucid dreaming in an entirely different way and everything will make more sense. And I see this again and again. So I've taught thousands of students at this point, and I've received hundreds of thousands of emails and comments over the years, and this really is such a fundamental issue for lucid dreaming that it doesn't matter how smart you are, how motivated you are, how whatever you are, this is the issue. In fact, I received a comment only this morning with just this very point. And they even asked for me to make a video, so to the person who left the comment, firstly, I'm sorry that you're going to be a little bit called out in this video. Don't take it personally, this applies to everyone, but you did get the video you asked for. So here's the comment. Hi Daniel, I'm a gifted person and normal reality doubting reality checks don't work for me because I know too clearly that I'm not dreaming. I'll explore how this works for myself, but just thought this might be an interesting topic for you to think about and wanted to share. So, before we go any further, can you guess what the problem is? If you think you know it, leave it in the comments. Okay, are you ready? Okay, here's the name of the problem. Certainty. So here's something you may never have thought about before. What does everyone on the planet have in common? Well, the answer is certainty. Most people are pretty certain that the decisions they're making, that the beliefs they have, that the choices they make are the right ones. From the most intelligent, well-meaning person to the most ridiculous criminal brain, everyone can justify their lives, justify their decisions, because it all makes sense in context to their life. And of course, not every belief can be true, because if they're all true, then none of them are. And not every decision is the right one, because, well, you know this from your own life. You've made mistakes in the past, even though at the time it seemed like the right thing to do. Human brains have a very strange tendency to be quite self-assured, to think that we're right. And you might be thinking, hold on a second, that's not like me at all. I'm always doubting myself and I feel really insecure and anxious. But when you pull that apart, when you look down deep in the heart of what's going on there, you've made a decision about yourself that you believe is right. You believe that you're insecure. You believe that you're anxious. So you're still being self-assured in this belief, even though there's nothing behind it other than that belief. So I'm not talking about confidence in yourself, but confidence in how you think. And this is the core problem that stops you having lucid dreams. It's what I call reality arrogance. So let's talk about reality arrogance and jump back to that original comment where the person says, I know too clearly that I'm not dreaming. Now there's a paradox there, right? Because if this person genuinely knows too clearly when they're not dreaming, logically they should always know when they are dreaming. But if they're not having constant lucid dreams, that absolutely can't be true. And so let's do a little bit of an experiment here, because I don't want to call out that one commenter, because this applies to everyone, including myself. Stop for a moment right now and ask yourself seriously, ask the universe seriously, is this a dream right now? And I want you to just, for a moment, stop and feel what you feel. What is your intuitive, instinctual assumption? And if you're anything like basically everyone I've ever met, including myself, and remember I've been doing this for 40 plus years now, Your gut feeling tells you, no, hold on, this is real, this feels solid, of course I'm awake. That's reality arrogance. Your intuition tells you, well, if it was a dream, I'd know I was dreaming because it's so obvious, this is so obviously real. But that's a paradox, because if you did know for certain that this was real, that any moment was real, and you could distinguish between dreams and waking life, then you wouldn't be trying to learn how to lucid dream. You'd be teaching it because you'd be doing it all the time. You can't be right about both things. You can't not have lucid dreams and know for certain when you're awake. The core problem. And this is why you can't lucid dream. Because you think you're smarter than you are. You trust yourself too much. You don't have the humility when it comes to questioning reality. A reality test has to come from a place of genuine doubt, a place of genuine humility. Think about it for a moment. This is the core problem of lucid dreaming. When you're dreaming, you have the same brain you have right now. You have mostly the same personality you have right now. You have the same intuitions, the same way of thinking. And because you're so confident that you can establish the difference between dreams and waking life, the question never crosses your mind. And even if you do ask the question, your intuition, your assumptions just quickly brush it aside. Of course, I'm awake. That is why we think that our dreams are waking life until we wake up and see them for what they are. Lucid dreaming is asking that question with humility during a dream, ignoring our intuition, and doing an experiment so that we can genuinely test. And then we become aware and awake within the dream. Lucid dreaming is really counterintuitive. There are lots of things that get thrown around in society. Trust your intuition, believe in yourself, be confident. All of those things sound great, and a lot of the time they are great, but when it comes to lucid dreaming, they're the worst thing ever. They're absolutely the worst thing, because we need to develop a genuine doubt about the nature of our reality and our ability to judge it. Humility, right? So I'm not going to pretend this is easy. I've been lucid dreaming since I was 5 years old, and I'm now in my late 40s. And even to this day, when I question, is this a dream right now? My intuition shouts to me, no, of course you're awake. But what I've learned to do is to ignore that, to remind myself that, well, if I'm not having lucid dreams, then my intuition can't be right, because if it were right, then I'd always recognize when I was dreaming. So here's a really quick, easy tip to help you with your reality checks, your reality tests, whatever you want to call them. After you've asked the question, could this be a dream? Then ask the question, what if I'm wrong? And it's a really good idea to start asking the question, what if I'm wrong, more often in life, not just when you're questioning if you're dreaming. This develops genuine humility. It will help you avoid all sorts of silly issues in your life. So when you're arguing with a friend, stop for a moment, think, hold on, could I be wrong? Could they be right? That will help you listen to them a bit more. When you're making decisions, stop, think, what if I'm wrong? What have I missed? And you'll miss making some really bad mistakes in your life. But as you develop that ongoing sense of humility, it opens your mind, a genuine open mind, because you stop being so convinced by your own inner voice, your own sense of self-value and self-righteousness. It's a very difficult thing to chip away at. We're born this way. It's a very human thing. But injecting humility into your life and into your lucid dream practice has many, many benefits. And also try reframing some common words. Doubt, skeptical, critical, wrong. Stop thinking of those as negative things. It's actually okay to be wrong. It's okay to not know things. That is the first step to learning more, to expanding beyond what you currently know. Everything you know right now started with you not knowing it and being open to learning it. And many things you know right now started with you thinking something entirely different and then being given evidence and expanding your worldview. Lucid dream training, when framed this way, is genuine mind expansion. Every lucid dream starts with a moment of doubt, a moment where you question what you know. You're far more likely to fall for an illusion if you think you can't be fooled. The key to seeing through illusions, seeing through the mystery of dreams, is to understand that you're not perfect, that you are fallible, and when you can fully integrate that into who you are, suddenly you don't fall for the illusions quite as much. And so, talking about humility, here's a bit of humility from me. This channel only exists because of you, and I only know whether you like the videos if you let me know, if you're learning from them. So leave your comments below, hit the like button if you like it, and if you want to learn more and expand your mind, try watching one of the videos on the screen right now. I'll see you there.